So what if all 50 US states had different electoral power each presidential election? So if you didn't know, we use this electoral college system to determine who is going to be the next president. California technically has the most electoral power with 55, although it always leans blue, so it's not really a battleground state. Texas is number 2 with 38 points, but it's also not a battleground state. Well, in the political machine, we can now completely randomize the power each state has, and we can also randomize what states tend to lean towards what political party. So we're going to recreate the 2020 election between Joe Biden and Donald Trump in a completely random US. We might just generate a world where Wyoming has the most population and Alabama contributes most of the GDP. Of course, each candidate has their own stats according to the game itself. Joe Biden is sleepy, his warm charisma, average intelligence, definitely a media bias there, he's an insider, he's pretty much good for all the rest of these categories. Donald Trump, on the other hand, has a lot of stamina, but is completely loathed by the media. By the way, this is also a world where the issues are completely different. Americans are going to want different things this time instead of what they wanted in 2020. So it's week 1, and there is a total of 28 weeks before the election. According to these very early polls, Joe Biden is going to win in a landslide, 470 electoral votes to 283. We got a long time ago, and things are going to change drastically. One of the most important issues in this election is boiling seas. So something's going on in climate change. Boiling seas actually kind of sounds nice if you live next to a beach. I wouldn't even really worry about this map to start off because so many things are going to be different by the end, but this is the most important part. Let's find out what state has the most power. I already love this because in this world, Montana has the most electoral power with 26 votes. This also leans heavily Republican at the moment, so that's a big win for Donald. Utah has the second most electoral power with 23 votes, and not too far away, we have California with 5 electoral votes. This is basically worthless. As a Californian myself, I stand by this. We are worthless. Gotta say, I love this. My birth state of Alabama has more electoral power at 16 than California does. New York is also struggling here too with only 10. I mean, I'm not saying these places are not going to be fought after, because they definitely might. What's really the most important are the actual swing states. New York is 48% leaning towards Republican. Maybe it's not a swing state, actually. That's a pretty red state in this world. It's going to be so nice to see states that normally don't have an effect on the election actually get some attention in this game. Didn't realize this, Louisiana is actually just as powerful as Montana with 26 electoral votes. And this definitely might be a toss-up. 45% lean Democrat, 41% lean Republican. Some things never change though. Wyoming still not useful at all. Now let's take a look at the state wealth map mode. The richest states in this world happen to be all in the heartland. All in these states that have like no population in our world are making all the money. This is really random because Montana has 26 electoral votes, but is making like no GDP for the country. I just clicked through all the states to find out what is the richest of them all. It is the KFC empire. KFC just rules the world in this universe. And look at that. It is very close. It's a toss-up. Who's gonna win this one? The state of Kentucky makes almost 10 times more wealth than the state of California. So the first campaign headquarters are being set up all around the map, Republican and Democrat. They're building their home bases. I won't even know what the swing states are until later on into the game, so I really won't be able to provide much knowledge or understanding of what everyone's kind of trying to do. I mean, I don't usually provide much knowledge in general. I'm just kind of sitting here as a big dum-dum. We're gonna figure out a whole lot more about these 50 states and this weird universe as the campaign kind of progresses. Right now, Donald Trump seems to be bringing in more capital to his campaign at $70,000 a week versus Joe Biden at only $60,000. Not a big difference. Biden might be winning the Electoral College, but according to the popular vote, it's still pretty close. He's only got a 3% advantage. Main Man tries to walk out of the store with $172 worth of steak and lobster stuffed in pants. In this universe, is Maine the new Florida? Crazy Main Man does sound pretty good. First newspaper coverage is out, and it's Donald Trump supporting the boiling seas. It does get pretty cold out there, I will say. There's a Democrat town hall being held in Colorado, and Donald Trump has gone after his first ideology, America First. Joe Biden is doing addressing climate change first. Let's see what's most important to the most powerful electoral college state, Montana, at least tied for the most powerful. America First is up there, which is why I guess Donald Trump is popular. Boiling seas is actually bad across the board. None of the two states' parties like that. Neither candidate has taken a stance there, so we'll see. It's actually the same thing for Louisiana, completely different state, but these issues are going to change as we go further into the campaign. Love how Joe Biden has put his campaign headquarters in Iowa. I don't know how powerful Iowa is in this universe, but it's just kind of funny because Iowa. Iowa is actually doing pretty good at 17 electoral votes, but Trump is winning at 47%. Iowa also really wants farm subsidies, and Joe Biden is promising that. Newspaper coverage. I am Donald Trump, and I oppose impeaching Republican opponents. What? Really? Joe Biden is looking to court pack, and Donald Trump is looking to frack and bring the troops home. Also, huge pickup for the Republicans. Red all across the board over here. He just flipped Florida, which Florida is actually still really important. Who would have thought? It's also leaning super red, and it's going to give 20 electoral votes. We do actually have candidates going to places like Alaska and Hawaii, which is, I feel, kind of unheard of. These are both leaning pretty left, though. By week 12, it is tied up here in terms of the popular vote. 45% to... Oh, it just changed. Oh, it's getting close. Again, more ideologies. Joe Biden's looking to eliminate fossil fuels, and Trump is looking to get allies to pay fair share. Ohio is now a battleground state. I need to look more into that. Funny to see the things that don't change. Ohio is still very important in this universe, too, at 20 electoral votes. It's also a complete toss-up right now. Only by 1% Joe Biden is winning. There might not be very many red states, but these states are looking extremely red, like they're not a toss-up. Funny that Trump is winning the popular vote at the moment, but electoral votes, he's still getting destroyed. He's got a long way to go. Trump is looking to pull out of NATO, and there are, I think, yep, vice presidents have now been chosen. Joe Biden has chosen Al Gore, which looks nothing like Al Gore. Who made Al Gore look like this? Al Gore is from Tennessee, so maybe that'll help him with Tennessee, although they already have a pretty big advantage in Tennessee. What the hell? Who is that? Trump has chosen Thomas Jefferson as his running mate. If it wasn't clear by now, this is a weird universe. So we have Maine men going crazy doing normal Florida stuff, Montana being the most populated state but contributing not too much to the GDP, and then old founding fathers randomly being brought from the dead to be vice president. Speaking of all that, how's the KFC empire doing? Still leaning heavily towards Trump, and it's actually not even close, so he's gonna have the state with the most money. One of the things I'm most excited for is to see the people that are still gonna be like, this is so unrealistic. Like, I would normally get a lot of those comments for these types of videos in this game, but now I'm really excited to see them because they're just gonna make no sense. Still can't get over the fact that none of the coastal states really contribute much to GDP or state wealth, except for Florida and Hawaii, that is. Don't know how that's happening. Also kind of funny that one of the only states that has nothing going on, there's no buildings or newspapers on it, is California. Even in this world where they only have 5 electoral votes, nobody cares to campaign within this state. Joe Biden is trying hard to win over Montana since he wants those 26 votes. Oh, it's not gonna go well though. You're so far behind, man. We do have another swing state, which is North Carolina. North Carolina's got a lot of strength here. There's only a 2% difference. Also, Al Gore doing his thing with in Ohio. He's trying his best. 2% difference here too. Really curious to see how Thomas Jefferson is going to handle issues like paid family leave or boiling seas or pull out of NATO. Does he know what any of that is? He's just like a hype man. I don't think he's really going out there doing anything. He's just like, let's get it! He just says like a couple slogans. He has no idea what's happening in the universe. I really think he just goes out there and does his famous one-liner, we hold these truths to be self-evident, and he just leaves the stage. And then Trump's just like, that's good, Tommy, now go get on the plane. The what? New Jersey is a new battleground state, as well as Wisconsin, so there's a lot more battleground states happening. There seems to be a blue wall being held between Mississippi all the way up to almost Washington. It's like a straight line. The only one that's differentiating is Oregon. Actually, there is only a 9% difference in California, surprisingly, but that's not gonna happen. So pretty much Trump has to win this entire half, and then Joe Biden has to win this entire half, but then because elections and points are all over the place, I don't even know if that's gonna make a difference. Biden opposes support for Israel. That was a newspaper headline in Nebraska. All right. Ohio is now leaning heavily towards the Democrats with 9 points. There's only 1 up for grabs. How did a shift like that happen so fast? Oh, and there's a lot of states in the Northeast that are up for grabs. We are 1 month away from the big election. Everyone's running around like chicken with their head cut off. Donald Trump has an additional $25,000 more than Joe Biden does every week, but they're both spending the same at $90,000. Getting things done in Washington. I don't know what that means, but getting things done in Washington. All right. How is Oregon the only red state in the entire West Coast? Like, it's not even close. It's really only just Montana and Oregon. That's really it. Team Trump takes a massive hit. What kind of hit? Another massive hit? So there's a smear campaign happening in these newspapers. We are 1 week away and the election is about to begin. Everyone out here is in Iowa. Well, everyone was in Iowa. There's a big old party in Iowa. This is gonna be weird. I don't even know like what states to look forward to. In order for this to be close, Trump's gonna have to win all these. And here it is, election night. We're gonna need to see a lot of red in the East if he wants to have a chance, because everything in the West is blue. Already, this is not looking good. That's a lot of blue. Oh, that's a swing state. Pennsylvania went blue. So did North Carolina. This has got to be over. Unless there were some missing details that I wasn't paying attention to. Ohio as well. Let's see how off these polls really were, because this is about to look like a landslide. Louisiana, one of the biggest electoral votes. Iowa went blue. Weird seeing some of these states go blue or red, whatever we're not really accustomed to. All right, well, the polls were actually exactly right. That looked to be like about the prediction they were going to make. Joe Biden won with 457 electoral votes, and you know what? It was probably at the very end, those smear campaigns really like threw the whole thing off. This is the strange electoral map that you'll probably never see again, because this just doesn't make any sense to my mind. My brain actually is about to have an aneurysm. Let me know if you'd like to see more of this with different candidates. Thanks for watching. See you next time. And big thanks to the February patrons: Thick Boy 3000, Stormtrooper 501, Rawlsea Tree, Aryan After Hours, Pobsnitz, Polovsky, Patrick C, Manny 74, Mac, Luxembourg Lover, Fusion Wolf, Fool San Nick, Epi Nick, Elijah Senpai, Dalton D, Annie Keaty, and Ballin' Like Stalin. If you'd also like your name here, check the Patreon link down below.